Hi guys, today I would like to compare the Tenere 700 to the Tenere 1200 Super Tenere, so that those who have dilemma what to buy have more information. On the right I have Tenere 700 from last year. This bike is worth about 8,000 euro. On the left, a 9-year-old Super Tenere, which is the version with trunks and with mileage around 50,000 kilometers, also costs around 8,000 euro. I will try to talk about those bikes from the user point of view, not technical data, because those can be found on the internet. So, both are modern enduro touring bikes. What do they have in common? First, liquid-cooled inline engines. This is the most compact design. Such standard twin has also GS 850, also Africa twin. Second one, upside down front forks. They are responsible for stiffness of the system. Interestingly, the same diameter is in both bikes. Third, large front wheels, 21 inches and 19 inches respectively. You know yourself that even a baby stroller with large wheels is easier to drive on the rough roads. 4, handlebars, wide handlebars and good wind protection. The fifth one is high exhaust pipes and sufficient ground clearance, plus, what is a minus, a corresponding high seat position. So guys, let's talk about external differences. Tenere 700 is a slim bike with narrow seat and narrow fuel tank, which makes it easier to move forward when riding off-road. It weighs 199 kilo without fuel, so it's on the heavy side of the off-road bikes, which usually weigh around 150 kilo. It has a higher center of gravity than Super Tenere, but because it's lighter, the weight difference is not felt while driving. Super Tenere 1200 is more complex motorcycle. Weighs around 261 kilo with full tank, a lot of that due to drive shaft, and you can see off-road genes here as well. How? First, radiator on the left side, so stone chipping is gone. Long suspension travel, 19-inch front wheel, narrow tank for, especially this place here is a narrow tank for good knee grip, and engine design with drum sump, and dry sump allows to place it lower. Then rear suspension with a really long swing arm, and if you look at handlebar, the handlebar is wider than on the T7. The construction of both motorcycles makes them a great offer for tall people. T7 with Riley seat, it's 86 cm high. The wheels meet the standards. T7 with 21 and 18 back, and Super Tenere with 19 front, 17 back. It's exactly like Africa Twin or GS. Interestingly, the weight of the rear tire on both bikes is the same. Fuel tank, 16 liters versus 23 liters. But due to higher consumption in Super Tenere, practically the same range. On average, my T7 consumed 4.6 liters during the last trip, and this is the consumption of this motor at 110 km/h on highway. And then look at the lights. On the back we have LED, both of them have. On the front both have lenses, but LED in T7 and H7 in Super Tenere. Blinkers come standard with bulbs in T7. Super Tenere has LED blinkers since 2014. Let's talk about differences that cannot be seen. Let's talk about sound. Both bikes bark nicely on started mufflers. Besides, who will add noise on long route? The look of the muffler? You cannot see because it's covered with trunks. Then engine braking. It's incomparably stronger in Super Tenere. So my colleagues shout on me to start pressing on the brake because I could be run over. T7 engine, work culture, gives power linearly like a Trump potentiometer. The engine on Super Tenere can stall when the clutch is operated incorrectly. Now about technological differences, or where the price difference comes from, as this bike costs around 10,000 euro, this one almost 20,000. We have ABS in both. We have throttle in both, but here we have electronic throttle, ride-by-wire. Here we have mechanical one, run on cable. Clutch control, cable, hydraulics. Brakes are integrated in Super Tenere. You brake each wheel separately in T7. But in Super Tenere, you can brake separately with the rear wheel when you press the foot brake. Access to the engine and plugs is incomparably easier in Super Tenere. To get to the plugs in T7, you have to unscrew everything and move the ABS pump away. At T7, some guys remove cable tray above the engine on the right side. It's to have a quicker access to the plugs, risking voiding the warranty. So let's talk about ride. First on the highway, and let's talk about wind protection. Shield is regulated in Super Tenere, not regulated in T7, unless you buy extender from T7 Riley. Driving position is similar because of the ease of standing up and resting. Comfort, the seat must be changed on T7 because of if you plan to long ride above 2 hours, I would suggest to change it. Here is the best in class. T7 driving at speed over 140 an hour with panniers and with the side wind or with the top case. The bike can cause to weave, which is then difficult. Then you have to really go down or stand up on pegs. But then off-road ride. You have easier turns in T7, you have bigger ground clearance, 22 centimeters here, and with the stiff spring 19 centimeters in Super Tenere. Both are measured from bush plate, from the original bush plate to the ground. But lifting Super Tenere is much harder. Both have spoke wheels. T7 tube type and Super Tenere is tubeless. Okay, now it's worth summarizing. Both bikes are for tall people. Lowering kits are available for both. Super Tenere has 2 seat adjustment positions. In Tenere you have to buy a new seat. Both bikes are low off-road due to high torque available immediately. In Super Tenere, the torque is available at idle. The difference is touring with passenger and luggage. The only one that allows you to cruise calmly is Super Tenere. But for beginners, I suggest small T7. Will forgive more due to the weight. If you look at what is the biggest minus of Tenere or Super Tenere, it is minus and plus. This is weight. So weight allows you to travel off-road, but on high speeds on the highway it's less stable. Opposite here, you have very stable bike, but it's more heavy off-road. So both bikes are painfully practical. Everything fits in them and they are boringly reliable. So they have everything to become iconic motorbikes. I hope you know more now about Tenere. I invite you to subscribe to my channel.